Arguably, the biggest addition to Update 53 is the new Boomerang Paragon ability. As you see, the Paragon has gained the ability to overcharge, which, when activated, doubles the attack speed. However, those stacks are lost over time. On top of that, other changes like it being more expensive because of this new attack speed ability. And together, we'll see if it can prove its worth over in this Elite Bloon Ares run on the map Underground. We leave off always on round 31, that's where the usual farming action starts. The following build order has become pretty much second nature. Sell, 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 buy this, sell, sell, farm, sell, done, play. Hopefully you understood most of that, but in the spirit of the boomerang, I guess we'll also try to use boomerangs to defend the tiers before Boomerang Paragon 2. Usually you don't want it because the boomerang is pretty bad single target until you get to the Paragon, but why not switch it up for a change considering this is boss challenge with no other modifiers. Now, quick sidestep before the tier 1 boss, but other things new in this update that I haven't shown yet are some trophy store items. We got a New Year Fireworks profile banner, Silas, Firecracker Gwen, the new hero skin, and Cupcake Heroes. So don't forget to pick those new additions up. Also, there's nothing new in the shop this update, but just a reminder, code ISAB thanks. So if I'm going to use boomerangs to defend tier 1, well, the very first thing I should probably get is a primary training with discount. Honestly, primary mentoring, because the best mult damage is obviously middle path, which is an ability, so you want that to cool off a little bit faster. Want to spam 042s for the most damage. We don't want to go too fast though, because once we spawn out those 70 ceramics, we're going to need, I think, probably 2 or 3 more glaives to defend it, depending on how late in the track it spawns, right? Maybe I should consider selling more of these boomerangs, or these farms. Because listen, I'm going to use the ability now, but it seems like 1 is hardly cutting it, my god. And this, folks, is why there is a meta, because without it, you'd be looking at, you know, damage like this. Very inefficient damage. Folks, I believe I made a grave mistake doing boomerang only here. I think maybe I'll allow myself to do an alpha buff, honestly, or for now, I think a blade trap might be in the works. Let's see. There's 2 more glaives. Surely that's enough, right? Just barely, it seems. Yeah, 0 chance it's gonna cut it. I think at the very least, just a 3-0 for now, and we'll see how that holds. Wave number 2. Each wave gives us less and less time, but the boomerang turbocharger is also damaging it. So the more I get, even though they're the low pierce crosspath, it still adds up. Can't say it's all gone to waste. Skull 3 number now, although no turbocharge ability up. It's all on the more glaives, 2 of them with outbuff now. Nice. Okay, I think we can clutch it now. 4 turbocharges, 3 more glaives. I pretty much have 1 active at all times if I stagger correctly. And yeah, I think we're gonna do it. Not so fast though, not so fast. That was the 3rd last golem I got to the last bend. I think I might need to deploy 1 glue or 2. Also, apologies if I sound a little bit different right now from my usual commentary voice. I can't tell you the reason why, but I can hear myself even talking a little bit different. That's all. Don't worry about it too much, or don't look into it too much. Oh my god, I even used glue that time and it still got through. I guess a blade trap then. Yeah, when in doubt, easiest way to get out of danger for 650. No questioning it. We're gonna lose 8 rounds of possible BRF income, but that's okay, because we can sell for a whole lot later. For now, while we lack camo, just gonna use that turbo ability for your FYI. That adds temporary camo, and there we go. And also foam. Now we don't have to worry about camos anymore. Oh, also, I'm pretty sure I can quite clearly explain why I think my voice is different. That's because I think I've been out of the commentary for a little bit. You might not notice it because you see uploads every other day or whatever frequency they are right now. And I don't take breaks often, mind you. Normally I actually do record a video once every couple days, or every other day, or every day at times. But if you're out of the loop, I'm going through a big moving process right now, so that's eating up a lot of time, including time to make videos or so. I'm stockpiling a little bit, just for your FYI. It really shouldn't come as a surprise that whenever you see a video, it doesn't mean I just recorded it. Some videos are fine to be recorded a little bit in advance. Not gonna say which ones though, you'll have to figure them out yourself. Anyway, also a bit rusty in the farming, but we can at the very least get our Banana Central by, I think, before round 2, tier 2 comes in, really. However, if I still plan to stick to Boomerang only defense, I'm gonna need a lot of Boomerangs to cut it. So how do we defend tier 2 while being poor? This is a foreign situation to me because I'm used to having a map full of farms by this point. Normally because most official boss events start you with, like, way too much starting cash. So whenever I'm reset to the usual 650, it just feels like I'm broke as hell. So just seeing, because I can only get one permachart, spamming a 042s is gonna be tough work, but there's nothing I can do about that, eh? If I go for a Mob Dom, that's obviously too inefficient. Same with a Glaive Lord, but honestly, I think we can try Glaive Lord because it does have a little bit of a shredding TOT, while also having the Pierce to defend the BFB inside. So, like, we're set now. We don't have to worry about the BFB insides. We can just keep on spamming 042s as we can afford it, while trying to keep a fertilizer every 4 rounds. I'm gonna missed a couple of extra fertilized bananas there. But let's see how many boomerangs this is gonna take. I think at a certain point, it might be more efficient just to do a call to arms so that it's, like, every boomerang you add is going to add so little, but if you buff all these by 50%, then yeah, do the math. I'm no Terrence Chow though, so I don't know if it's actually better to go for the call to arms now, but I'll estimate one more at least, and then at like 10 turbocharges, I'm pretty sure it's worth it to go for this now. See if we need it though, because honestly, I'm just starting to ramp up. Yeah, this DPS is not cutting it. I'm pretty sure we were much closer to like killing the boss at this point, tier 1. I'm gonna need the CTA badly. Great news, I have a what is it, Reju Potion. That will make a call to arms more efficient, and like, taking that into account, yeah, probably should have gotten in a couple of turbochargers earlier, but better late than never. Okay, I got 2 Reju Potions. I might as well just use all of them here. Oh yeah, that also resets the boomerangs, duh. So that's hella worth. Okay, probably save our last one then for the BFB insides, and that'll be tier 2. Tier 3, you guessed it, is absolutely gonna need a Paragon. And if not for the fact that they increased the... Oh god, I died? Okay, let's redo that real quick. Damn. That's a lot of progress to be reset back to. As I wanted to touch on earlier though, this tier I actually might have considered, even though I was poor, considered a Boomer Paragon, if not for the fact that it ended up getting buffed this update in price. Buffed as in increased price. If you want to look at the notes exactly, you're probably going to die again, dang it. But full notes on the Paragon, as you see here, 50% more expensive, but in exchange, even the base damage is increased. So if you don't think about the turbocharge effect or the overcharge effect at all, then still comes out on top. Once again, I'm not going to do the math on the spot, though, for if it's actually cost efficient, like compared to the previous update. Does the overcharge average stacks equal to about 50% more damage? If not, then it's not as worth it per cost. But I guess once you get a late game setup, it doesn't matter. Money is the least of your issues. You want raw damage. Anyway, we can now sell everything except the Glaive Lord, I guess, after this round is done, and focus fully on farming. Hopefully, I'll see you on round 80 with enough farms and enough money for the Paragon 2. Okay, sorry, this is not a round 80 update, but earlier I didn't actually show you other changes to the Boomerang, not the Paragon, but some pretty important changes. I explained why I was, for one, doing a little bit less damage on tier 1, and this is pretty important. The Bio Boomer lost 1 mold class damage, but it also got more attack speed, and then that translates into the reduced attack speed of turbocharge and the attack cooldown buff of the turbocharge. Alright, this time I actually did crunch a little bit of math, and I'm pretty sure it's actually a nerf to the turbocharge overall, especially if you consider if you add primary mentoring and all that, turbocharge uptime is pretty good. Again, NK's main intention seems like it was to make the, not relying on the ability too much, but taking that power away, yeah, ends up making it, I think, slightly worse against bosses, but better in general. Anyway, we may have to sell a couple of farms if we want to get a higher tier boomerang than this. Alright, cool. I only have to sell, I think, Wall Street to afford it, but I'll sell this too for a little bit better of a Boomer Paragon position. Now, this one's probably only going to be, wow, yeah, probably only degree 20. But with degree 20, I'm also hoping that it works for tier 4. Otherwise, I kind of don't want to get my final Paragon that early, because I want to, you know, juice it up with as many Paragon tomes as possible. So hopefully, again, with its increased power, 20 is actually enough or close to enough for a tier 4. I don't have that much money to spend, but I'll try to use the remaining cash during the round if possible to farm as many Paragon pops as possible, because that's going to, again, make our final Paragon degree a little bit better. But for now, we gotta play the round to actually make some decent money here. So here we go. I don't think we're gonna get many pops from the Boomerangs here at all, are we? Yeah. Boomer Paragon's probably a little bit too good this stage of the game. Go figure, I guess. Go frickin' figure. This is no indication about how it's gonna do for tier 3. Actually, no, I think it is a good indication. I just say that because most Paragons, like temporary Paragons at tier 3, should shred. This should be expected. Ability now, and yep, you can see that damage chunk like cray, and still holding 7 stacks. Mind you, this was without even having the ability for the whole time. So I guess now that this tower has an ability, if you want to make the most out of it, you got to get it around in advance to cool it off. You can also see at the degree 20, it almost has full uptime, the ability. It's like 95%. So kind of similar to NG Paragon. You need about degree 40, I think, to get perma uptime. Correction, old NG Paragon. The new one has a higher uptime, but if you know, you know. I'm gonna stuff the other tier 5 boomerangs at the front. Actually, no, what am I doing? If I do this, I lose the attack speed from Paragon of Power, so... But I still want pops on boomerang, so what I need to do is I gotta try to use tier 4 boomerangs to deal as much AI damage this round, basically. Undoubtedly, that is gonna be a bit difficult because tier 4s are weak, but it doesn't matter if we lose a little bit. We should get most of it because the boomerang only has the... I think the bottom path attack for the Paragon to steal pops away from this distance. Forgive me again, this is not the most optimal farming I've done, but it should be enough for what we're trying to accomplish here, and the fact that if I'm only getting the Boomer Paragon, the most expensive tier 5, it's not gonna require too much for a max cash slider, only like 1.5 million now. But anyway, I think to continue touching on this change, I think it makes sense. Mostly the price buff part, because if you think about it, the Boomer Paragon has some of the more expensive tier 5 upgrades. Like the Ice Paragon has much cheaper tier 5s, but the Paragon before this update was more expensive. So price-wise, it makes sense to go to the 375 mark. As for the design decision to add an ability, that also kind of makes sense because you need to incorporate the middle path somehow, but it feels kind of empty, the fact that, again, once you have full uptime on it, it's kind of just more work because you just spam the ability mindlessly if you want extra damage. Now, obviously, there's some thinking as to maybe you want the damage burst a little bit sooner for this most important part, like when a skull pops on Blooners, for example, but still. Outside of that, I don't see it being a very versatile ability. Just, again, kind of make sure to press the button, which, especially if you're playing on ranked mode, is just one extra thing you gotta worry about it. I cleared out some more spots just to place more boomerangs, because at a certain point, if I have too much money, you might as well farm pops with the space, rather than make an extra 20k. Anyway, let's see first how many pops I can get on spamming 28 boomerangs, and use the ability Overcharge now as well. And hopefully we're getting a good mix of both damage on these lower tier boomerangs as well as the DPS on the main guy. I'm actually not too worried about getting that many pops on the boomerangs this tier, because even though 8 million is a lot of potential damage to farm, the rounds 100 to 109 if we, say, keep spamming GFRs and Homeland on them, should give our tier 4s a lot. Anyway, if you could see through this leg, you'll see that we're doing a pretty good job so far this year. Enough that I don't think I really need to worry. So, that's a round 102 update. One more thing to mention, we can farm props pretty easily, actually, between tier 4 and 5, because I can just sell this, because I don't need it anymore, and get the tier 5 boomerangs, which will defend a lot, hell of a lot easier. This also might not be my intention, but at this point, we might just gun for the degree 100 boomer. We might have the pops for it. If you have the pops for it, you only need 20 Paragoon totems to afford it. And we're already at 18, likely 30 by the end. Okay, bad news, we might have started the Paragon stacking a little bit too late. Because our progress is good, but it's only a 91 with 7 rounds to go. Pretty sure we'll be quite a bit off. Let's not dwell on the failure too much. We can still get a pretty high degree. And remember, 1 round in advance. 96 is the max that we get, even if we did go full. So we'll spend the rest of the, what is it, 2.1 million on other supporting Paragons, like Ice or NG. Just for good measure, I'll throw in the sub Paragon too, because I think a bit more CDR will give me overall a little bit more stacks, but it's negligible. Let's not waste any more time. 1 round was actually almost enough to have gotten Power Glove, so we want to stack that with the overcharge ability, and take a look at that, folks. That is pretty good damage, if you ask me. Enough for the Boomer to quote-unquote solo. I think it looks pretty promising. Now, skipping skulls pretty much does not matter here, so I think I'll just spam the Ice ability, yeah. Or actually, it does kind of matter, but I also have enough money just to buy a Legend of Night to tank it, so I'd rather just use this now. You want to use this a lot because, like, even though you don't get skull skipping huge benefit, you still end up getting Lunaris frozen, which gives you time. A little bit more time to pop Lunaris down. Guess I'll throw in some more damage too with the sentry turrets, but the main focus is supposed to be the Boomer, right? As for whether it can solo, I think if we had the degree 100 version, the answer would be absolutely yes, but right now, kind of leaning on a maybe. Oh, also, crap, you can't use the turbocharge ability until it times out. Okay, never mind, never mind. It's still, now this is still useful just to, you know, get CDR on the sub, or the Ice and the NG, but wow. You can't even refresh the stacks, which is, I feel like, an oversight. It would have been nice to have. It would have made sense to make CDR actually more useful and higher degrees, but yeah, I don't know. They just didn't add it. Maybe they thought it'd be too OP, because looking at this right now, yeah, this guy is good. No shot he would have done this last update, but I mean, we're comparing apples to oranges here, or rather apples to superior, genetically modified apples. Got my tongue twisted there. Solid 44 million on the NG, and peanuts on the rest. Or sorry, Boomerang. I keep messing up my words, but thank you for watching. There's a lot more changes to this update where it came from, so if you would like to see coverage of what's new in 53, subscribe, and leave a like if you enjoyed.